What's the matter?
I'll get a parking ticket.
Oh, just leave the keys in the car. If he says anything, I'll move it. What's up now? Do you think I'm going to pinch the bloody car or something?
No.
Well, get a move on. My mate's just gone in to pick up the office wages. It'll only be a minute.
Here's more news concerning the bombing in Melbourne today. Police have issued the description of a man they wish to question over the incident. He's in his late 20s with light brown hair, slim build and a moustache. Would anyone knowing the whereabouts of this man please contact Detective Parsons of Melbourne CIB. Police now believe that the 3 people involved in the blast, a woman and her 2 small children, were not the intended victims. And just repeating that description again, the man the police wished...
Aren't you going to count it?
I trust you, mate. We're partners, aren't we? I just heard a bulletin on the radio. The cops are talking to Fletcher, so it's all over. There is one last favour you could do me. Just drive me to a mate's place.
Look, I can't. I've got an appointment.
You would want to know where I was, just in case something went wrong, wouldn't you? Look, it's not far. It's just up the road. Come on.
I think that's about everything, Mr. Simpson. Or does he drive a car?
Yes.
You know the type?
It's a Commodore, a cream Commodore.
Registration number?
I'm not sure.
That's all right. We can check that at the station.
Are you sure he's responsible?
Well, we can't be certain until we've spoken to him, but you heard the description. And he had the motive. Look, I'll be leaving a policeman outside the door. If he should try to contact you, you'll let us know, won't you?
Sergeant, which hospital is Mrs. Fletcher in?
City General.
And Jim, Mr. Fletcher, is he there too?
Yes, I believe so.
I like your idea of not far.
Didn't take long.
That where your friends live?
That's right.
Well off, are they?
They do all right. Come and meet them.
No, thanks.
That wasn't an invitation. Get out of the car. Move.
Look, is this some kind of joke?
Oh, yeah. It's a joke, all right, mate. The joke is you don't live long enough to know how it ends. Now get in the house.
Jim?
What do you want?
Police told me you were here. I thought you might need me.
Need you? Needing you is what caused all this. Because of you, my wife's on the operating table. My kids are dead. Why the hell did you have to turn up?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that lot of good that's gonna do.
Mr. Fletcher? I'm sorry. We did everything we could, but...
Mrs. O'Connell, would you please tell the court briefly of the circumstances surrounding the crimes for which you were originally sentenced?
Yes. My husband, Eric, did an armed hold-up. He took Davy along with him. I didn't know about it until it was too late.
And then they returned to your home after the crime?
Yes. Well, it was their home, too.
Quite. And subsequently, you hid their presence from the police and helped them get away from the city?
Yes.
And after that, you were arrested and sentenced to 5 years for aiding, abetting, and accessory after the fact of armed robbery?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Connell, you have 2 other children, do you not?
Yes. Andrew and Emma.
And what happened to these children at the time of your arrest?
My mother looked after them.
Are they still with your mother?
No. They had to go to a home. My mother's sick. She had to have an operation. And she found the kids were getting a bit too much for her. Oh, not that they're bad kids, Your Honour. They're just normal kids.
Mrs. O'Connell, we understand you have now divorced your husband.
Yes, Your Honour. Miss Jeffries thought it best.
Miss Jeffries?
Miss Angela Jeffries, Your Honour, an associate of mine. She acted on behalf of Mrs. O'Connell during the divorce proceedings.
Oh, yes. Miss Jeffries. Why did she think it was best?
Mr. O'Connell has a long list of convictions, Your Honour, and much as my client loved her husband, she was rather afraid of the influence he might have over her children. Yet another unhappy event in her life brought about through circumstances.
I see. It would seem Mrs. O'Connell has had her fair share of the inequities of life. Miss Saunders, we've heard enough, really, to be able to consider our decision on this case. Is there any other relevant point you wish to raise?
There is one, Your Honour, yes. My client's husband, Eric O'Connell, was convicted of armed robbery, to which my client was an accessory, and sent to Pentridge. 2 weeks ago, he was released on parole. Does it not seem iniquitous that the man who perpetrated the crime has paid his debt to society, whilst the one person acknowledged to have been involved only peripherally is still being punished?
That is indeed a good point, Miss Saunders, and one which we will consider in our deliberations. This court shall adjourn for 1 hour.
This Supreme Court will adjourn for 1 hour. Silence, all stand.
It seems to be going all right, don't you think?
Yes, but don't be too confident.
But the judge said I'd been through a lot. And when you told them about Eric...
Right. You've been convicted and sentenced. Now, for the judges to alter that sentence means, in effect, that they're admitting one of their colleagues was wrong, and they do not like to do that. The law, at least, must be seen to be unified.
The law. What about justice?
What time is it, Bea?
Haven't got a clue.
Don't you reckon Pat should be back from court by now?
Now, how should I know?
Oh, he was hanging about. Pat not back from court. He's left his wife in hospital. Time just seems to drag.
Yeah, well, maybe it wouldn't if you did some work for a change. So why don't you get on with it instead of just sitting there and thinking about it?
Yeah, you could be right. Is that why you changed your mind about the drama classes?
And what do you want about now?
The drama group. Is that why you decided to go on with it? To keep you busy?
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know how you could work with a bloke like that Pierce, carrying on with a girl young enough to be his daughter.
Was his daughter.
What?
The girl was his daughter.
Oh. Affectionate, wasn't she, for a daughter?
Yeah, well, it's nice to see her father and daughter close for a change.
You going out?
Yeah.
Dressed like that?